In this video, I'll be giving advice to anyone who has been on their natural hair journey for so many years but have never reached their hair goals or seen progress in their hair because trust me, I was once there. So I'll be sharing two life-changing advice I got that literally changed my hair. Honestly, looking back at my natural hair journey, I was focused on the wrong things and I wish I saw a video like this that actually kept me focused on the things that you actually have to do to retain length and reach your hair goals faster. I was more focused on getting products, finding products that will instantly grow my hair, which is not possible because your hair growth cycle is always the same. Like your hair is constantly growing. Your issue is that you're just simply not retaining length. And I wish I knew that earlier. I would have stopped focusing on hair growth and focused more on my length retention, my techniques, and how I care for my hair. So in this video, I'll be sharing two major advices that I got last year that made me jump into my 3 months hair growth challenge and also shifted the way I approach my natural hair, especially in my length retention. So the first thing we have to think of is reducing breakage, and the only way you can do that is reducing your manipulation to your hair. If you want to retain length, you need to actually retain the length you're growing. That means you're actually reducing your breakage. So if your hair is stagnant or you're not seeing changes to your hair, simply because your hair is breaking more than it's growing. And how you can actually stop that is just simply reducing your manipulation, and that's where long-term protective hairstyles come in. So I started doing a 3 month hair growth challenge and it made me retain more length. And actually I started seeing so much changes in my hair. I've retained more length than I have like my whole hair growth journey. In a year, I've retained so much length that I did not even know it was possible. So long-term protective hairstyle is something that you've been sleeping on. And when it comes to my long-term protective hairstyle, I keep it only for 3 months. 3 months is the sweet spot that works for me. I do not experience matting, I do not experience tangles, and it's easy for me to take down my hair. I'm going to also explain how I'm able to do this and not actually lock my hair, because that's a very common issue everyone is scared of, is locking their hair. And when it comes to your long-term protective hairstyle, you have to actually pick the right protective hairstyle for your hair. For you to be able to do this, you have to know your type of hair, how you can pick the right protective hairstyle for your type of hair. So when it comes to long-term protective hairstyle, many people can do it the wrong way, because I've tried it before, but I tried it with braids, like adding extensions to my hair. And honestly, guys, my hair was literally falling off. So when it comes to this particular thing, you have to pick the right protective hairstyle. You need to know what type of hair you have, whether you have fine or thick or medium hair. I realized I had fine hair, so adding extensions to my hair was not something I would get away with. So I stuck to doing only my natural hair. And when I tell you I've retained so much length, I try to find alternative ways to actually mix this up, like finding lightweight extensions I can add to my hair, like doing a boohoo or like a leave out situation that is lightweight. When it comes to fine hair, make sure that whatever protective hairstyle you're doing is lightweight. You can have full access to your hair to do your routine, and also you can keep it long term without experiencing matting, tangles, and all of that. So my good protective hairstyle, which I'm going to talk about more in a separate video, but my go-to is usually mini twist and braids. Flat twist is something I've tried, but long term is not sustainable because it can get very frizzy and rough easily. So know your type of hair would actually help you to pick the right protective hairstyle for you. So that's the first advice I'm going to give to you when it concerns protective hairstyle, long-term protective hairstyle, and the right protective hairstyle. Trust me, if you can hack these two things, you would see your hair flourishing so much. I do a 3 month challenge on my channel, so if you're very conflicted about this, I have a very detailed video explaining everything I've done that has helped me retain length in a year. I have a detailed video, I'll link it for you to check out. But trust me, like, this particular advice I got last year changed my hair. I've even tried with different ways to make this fun, because I know people can get like bored with their hair just simply doing braids, mini twists, flat twists. It can get boring, but trust me, there are so many things you can do. I recently tried this hairstyle where I added like French curl leave out to my hair, and it's simply just my natural hair. I only just put the curly leave out, and it's very lightweight. You need to stick to lightweight protective hairstyles. So that's all for my first advice, and I really hope you would try this, and definitely check out my channel for more information. For my second advice, this is where most people usually miss it when it comes to actually doing this particular thing I'm talking about. They do not care for their hair, they're not consistent with their hair, and they do not have a routine for their hair, which is very important. You see that matting you're scared of, that tangle you're scared of. If you're not doing your routine, if your hair is not moisturized, And if you're not washing your hair, that's when you would actually get the thing you're scared of, which is matting, tangles, and everything. So you have to one, be consistent with your routine. First, no, actually, you need to have a routine, be consistent, and prioritize how your hair feels, how it reacts to certain products you're using. Just understand and listening to your hair. When it comes to my routine, I have simply two routines I do to my hair, which is my moisture routine and my wash day routine. When it concerns natural hair, it breaks if it's not moisturized. Dry hair breaks, like that's something you should understand. If you keep your hair in a long time protective hairstyle and think, oh my god, my hair has grown, you can see all the growth you've gotten, you're so happy. But when you're taking down your hair, you're careful with your hair, but it's simply just breaking and falling off. That's simply because you did not moisturize your hair. You left your hair dry. It has developed a lot of split ends, which is causing your hair to break so much. So, keeping your long term protective hairstyle works hand in hand with actually having a routine and being consistent during that 3 months. You cannot do one without the other. And if you do not do both of them, you're not going to get the result I'm talking about. So, I'm going to explain it for you so that you can have better understanding. Your moisture routine is different from your wash day routine, and both routines are very, very important. Your moisture routine is done before your wash day routine. So if you wash your hair this week, next week you're doing your moisture routine. So basically every single week you are doing a routine to your hair. So you have four routines you're doing for that month, which is every single week. So that's when being consistent comes into play. You have to be consistent with your routine. So for my wash day routine, I like to start off with using a moisturizing shampoo. I usually go for the Cream of Nature Argan Oil shampoo. In this video, I was using a different shampoo, but I was testing out something for a separate video. But my go-to will always be a moisturizing shampoo, simply because I have high porosity hair and my hair is prone to dryness. So I like to go in with moisturizing product to keep my hair moisturized. I will also talk about hair porosity. Yeah, let me talk about hair porosity. Hair porosity is simply what you need to know before you start using any products on your hair, whether you have high porosity or low porosity. High porosity means your hair absorbs moisture but doesn't retain it. So you have to use thicker products to weigh down on your hair for your moisture to last longer. While low porosity means your hair does not absorb the moisture, but it retains it so much that it can cause so much buildup. So that means you have to use lightweight or hydrating products so that you do not develop buildup and clog up your scalp and limit your hair growth. So that's why it's very important and very tricky when it comes to hair porosity. But trust me, it is very easy. I have a more detailed video talking about hair porosity, and also dropped a low porosity routine. So you can definitely check that out. I will link it for you to check out also. But moving on to what we're talking about, your wash day routine, you need to start off with a moisturizing shampoo, which is the Cream of Nature. After washing your hair, you go in with your treatment. I like to use a hair rinse which contains hibiscus, fenugreek, cloves, and rosemary. This simply just helps to strengthen my hair, reduce hair loss, and also moisturize my hair. I have a detailed video talking about treatments, how important they are, and it has helped my hair so much, especially with having fine hair. You need to make sure that you strengthen your hair strands, and that's usually my go-to treatment. I pair that with my deep conditioner, the Mega Grow Deep Conditioner. Love that product down. Then I deep condition with it using a steam cap for just 10 to 20 minutes. Then after that, I simply just rinse out the product and I move on to my LOC method. So for my LOC method, I mentioned I have high porosity hair, so I like to go with thicker products. So I go in with the Mazuri Leave-In Conditioner. It's a very thick product, so it can weigh down on my cuticles and lock my moisture better. So because this is a thick product, I do not apply it directly to my scalp. When it comes to using, or when it comes to having a long-term protective hairstyle, one important thing you need to make sure is you do not have product buildup and you do not clog up your pores, because it can actually limit your hair growth. So I make sure that when I'm using thick products, I do not apply it directly to my scalp because of that issue. I do not want to develop product buildup. I do not want to clog up my pores, because scalp health is very, very important. So after doing my leave-in conditioner, which I apply only to the length of my hair, then I go in with my oils. I use the virgin hair fertilizer and paired up with my own herbal oil, which I made. It contains a lot of powerful herbs that help to strengthen, reduce hair loss, help to just helps my hair, the overall health of my hair. So it's very important that you actually make this, because I love using it so much and it's very easy to make. I have a video on that also, which I'm going to link for you. So after pairing my virgin hair fertilizer and my herbal oil, I apply that on my scalp because it's a lightweight oil. I make sure when I'm making my oils, I use olive oil because it's a lightweight oil, so it doesn't clog up my pores, and I can use that to seal the moisture on my scalp and just see basically the length of my hair, like sealing in the moisture. So for my last step, I like to go in with my cream. For my cream, I use this shea butter. It's a very thick one, and trust me, like adding this to your routine, your moisture would last longer. Apply this only to the length of my hair, especially my ends, because they're the oldest part of my hair, and I want to make sure that my moisture is locked in there. Because if your ends are dry, you can develop split ends, which can cause massive breakage and damage to your hair. So that's simply my wash day routine. It's very simple. One thing about my routine, I like to keep it very easy, straight to the point. It doesn't have to be a whole day. In like 30 minutes, you're done with your routine and you can go on with your day. I like to make my routine as easy as possible so that I can actually do it more often. So for my moisture routine, it's simply the same thing but without washing my hair. Like I said, I like to stick to what works for me. And for my high porosity hair, it loves this routine so much. It's easy, straight to the point. So listening to this video, you'll be like, is that it? Like simply natural hair and growing natural hair is very, very easy. Like I wish I knew this starting up my natural hair journey years ago, because I've cut my hair, restarted, cut my hair, restarted every single time because my hair is always damaged. So this would help you get on the right track to your hair journey. So if you have any questions, any further details, because there are so many other things I did not talk about in this video, but honestly, if you know these two basic things, you're good to go. So you do not have to bother about knowing so much. And for any further questions, you can leave that in the comment section. I'll be happy to answer that. And do not forget to subscribe for more updates on my 3 months hair growth challenge. And yeah, that's all for this video. Thank you so much for watching. See you in my next one.